blood and body parts cast over the land in order to assure its fertility. In travelling to the ends of the earth, to Colchis in what is today Georgia, to retrieve the Golden Fleece, the film suggests Jason is also symbolically travelling back in time, to witness the origins of civilization in a religion of magic, ritual, and human sacrifice. Jason takes Medea back with him to Corinth, the city-state of modernity and intrigue. These scenes are filmed in Pisa. But Medea carries the primal world within her. She lives beyond the polis, outside the city walls, and this enables her to summon up the appalling forces of vengeance, the Furies, in order to kill her own children. The film's opening episode of human sacrifice is unquestionably a shocking scene in itself, but for certain viewers of horror cinema, it is also a disorientating one, as it clearly prefigures, both aesthetically and thematically, some of the most controversial films ever made. Medea's Sparagmos closely resembles, or anticipates, a number of scenes of ritual human sacrifice and dismemberment, from Ruggero Deodato's Cannibal Holocaust, 1980, Umberto Lenzi's Cannibal Ferox, 1981, and a number of other Italian cannibal movies of the late 1970s and early 1980s. Unlike Medea, all of these films were banned under the Video Recordings Act of 1984. Cannibal Holocaust, in particular, has an infamous place in popular demonology as perhaps the archetypal video nasty. It is a film so powerful, and for many so unacceptable, that its director was arrested and tried shortly after its release, on charges not only of obscenity but also of murder, as the authorities initially refused to believe that the film's scenes of violence and torture could possibly have been staged. They were, and Deodato was acquitted when the actors involved were revealed to be alive and well. The episode of the baby ripped from the mother's womb to which I alluded in the first paragraph is from Macbeth. Of course, it's Macduff's account of his own birth, and Macbeth isn't even Shakespeare's most violent play. That would be Titus Andronicus, whose opening scene makes the connections between civilization and horror very clear. The origins of civilization are in violence. Ritual and other forms of sacred violence are used to channel otherwise uncontrollably violent, destabilizing urges into socially licensed forms. At the beginning of Titus Andronicus, Tamora, queen of the Goths, sees her son brutally killed by the conquering Romans. "See, Lord and Father, how we have performed our Roman rites. Alarbus's limbs are lopped, and entrails feed the sacrificing fire, whose smoke like incense doth perfume the sky." What follows is well known: further mutilation, rape, cannibalism, the full Jacobean panoply. Shocking, yes. Surprising, no. After all, the greater part of the Western literary tradition follows or celebrates a faith whose own sacrificial rites have at their heart symbolic representations of torture and cannibalism, the cross and the host. A case could plausibly be made that the Western literary tradition is a tradition of horror. This may be an overstatement, but it's an argument with which any honest thinker has to engage. The classical argument in defense of the brutality of tragedy, a form which I have come to think of as highbrow horror, is the Aristotelian concept of catharsis, according to which the act of witnessing artistic representations of cruelty and monstrosity, pity and fear, purges the audience of these emotions, leaving them psychologically healthier. Horror is good for you. I confess I have always had difficulty accepting this hypothesis, though I recognize that many people far more learned and brilliant than me have had no trouble accepting it. It seems to me to be a classic example of an intellectual's gambit, a theory offered without recourse to any evidence. And yet catharsis seems to me to be far preferable to another, more common response to horror: the urge to censor or ban extreme documents and images in the name of public morality. If catharsis is Aristotelian, then this hypothesis is Pavlovian. Horror conditions our responses. A tendency to watch violent acts leads inexorably to a tendency